Hey everybody, how's it going? Happy Sunday afternoon, almost at the end of another weekend. And I got two little pieces of information from Bob Condotta that I wanted to go over in a video today. There isn't a whole heck of a lot going on in the NFL right now, at least in terms of Seahawks stuff. If you're a Packers fan, the Rodgers stuff is probably keeping you captivated every single day. Fans of the Texans might be watching the Deshaun Watson stuff, but for the Seahawks, pretty chill. But Bob Condotta tweeted earlier today a couple of things that I thought were worth mentioning in a video. So, first, I mentioned that the Michael Dickson extension could very well have reduced his cap hit for 2021. And it looks like it has, per Condotta. His cap hit has been brought down by about 1 million. And I think the cap hit was 3.4 million or so. So now it's going to be 2.4. So his extension is quite big, but the money he gets from the cap in 2021 has gone down. So per overthecap.com, the Seahawks now have 8.33 million in 2021. It's certainly enough to bring in another fairly decent player and still have enough left over to have, injury replacements throughout the season. So you don't have to do this as a team. You could just have a contract that evenly spreads out the cap hits. You could have a contract in theory that even has a bigger cap hit in the first couple years. So I have to believe we're doing this for a reason. The fact that we would choose to backload Dixon's contract, I mean, it makes sense in general because the cap is about to blow up. You want the bigger cap hits in the later years just because of that. But beyond that, um, I don't know why you would do this if you're not trying to bring in one more piece, even if the piece is a small one, not one that would necessarily get people jumping up and down excited about it. Somebody like Geno Atkins on a very small deal. And I've already kind of warned about the Geno Atkins thing, but I wouldn't hate bringing him in for a very small contract. So definitely interesting to watch here as we continue to clear cap space, little by little. I think we're going to do something with it, but remains to be seen. But all we can know for sure right now is that Michael Dickson's extension brought his cap hit down by $1 million in 2021. Okay, so that's kind of the teaser. Let's go over to the main course of what Condotta just tweeted. Somebody asked him about KJ Wright, and Condotta had this to say. And not that he's always going to be right, but Condotta usually has a pretty good feel on what's going on with this team. So Condotta had this to say about KJ Wright, and I think it's worth listening to. Wright's situation isn't really about money or cap space. The Seahawks just want to turn over the weak side linebacker and strong side linebacker spots to Jordan Brooks and Darrell Taylor. Now, he might just be inferring this based off what the team has done so far, which is believable, but I could believe that he has some inside information on this. And even if he doesn't, this makes a lot of sense to me, and I feel like the door has pretty much been shut on bringing KJ Wright back at this point. Because you can't, well, you could, but why would you want to? Why would you want to bring him back just to be a special teamer? Why would you want to bring him back just to play 7 snaps a game like Ryan Kerrigan did for some of last season for Washington? So when I saw this tweet, it I don't want to say it made me happy because I like KJ Wright, obviously, and he's been great for the last decade. But I think it's the right thing to do, and I like that the team is thinking about things in these terms. I've said it before. I wasn't going to be angry if we brought back KJ Wright for cheap, but one thing I did say was that we can't just think about it in terms of money. We can't just think about it in terms of short-term gratification. We need to see what these young guys have. Jordan Brooks and Darrell Taylor were our top 2 draft picks in 2020, and they need to see the field as much as possible in 2021. In some ways, they're already behind the 8 ball, especially Darrell Taylor. But even Jordan Brooks, to get drafted in the first round and only play, I think, less than 400 snaps in 2020 is not ideal. And Darrell Taylor obviously missed the whole season. So I think it's good that this team is not married to their beloved veterans. And this tweet from Bob Condotta is kind of confirming what I was already suspecting. The team just wants to get a little younger at the linebacker position, and they've determined that this is the right way to do things, even if you could get KJ back for very cheap. And at this point, you probably could. So my feeling is that unless KJ remains unsigned mid-season and things either go badly or somebody gets hurt, you're not going to see KJ right back in Seattle. And honestly, with the way things are going, it would not amaze me if he just retired because nobody can make him a real offer. Now, there is the emotional side to all this. There is the human side to all this. And KJ is kind of getting screwed here by just the nature of this position he plays. I mean, it's not necessarily anybody's fault, but what he does in the NFL is just not very valued at the moment. Right now, he is a 4-3 outside linebacker who does not rush the passer. He is a primarily run stopping. He's the screen whisperer as well. So, he plays coverage, he plays the run, and the value of those skills is just really getting away from us. So getting away from the modern NFL. So it kind of sucks because he performed well last year. He played a good season. He had a very good 16 games and he played well in the playoff game as well. It's just not going to result in any money, it doesn't look like, because his services are not valued by NFL teams, even if those services are performed at a high level. But putting all that to the side, because at the end of the day, we are fans of the Seattle Seahawks. We're not fans of any one player or any one group of players. I know Bobby made some comments recently indicating that he wanted KJ back. Of course he does, but you can't kowtow to the players in situations like that, or else they're just gonna run your franchise. And when a player runs a franchise, then, well, you get the Cavaliers giving Tristan Thompson a max contract and giving Iman Shumpert more than the veteran minimum and a whole bunch of nonsense like that should never happen. So, kind of, again, I don't want to say I'm happy about it, but I think this is the right thing to do. I feel like based on Bob Condotta's comments combined with the context and, just basic common sense, the door is shut on KJ Wright coming back to Seattle until maybe a month into the season at the earliest. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Um, some people were probably thinking like, hey, with the money we saved on the Dickson extension, we can go get KJ Wright. But I have a feeling that if we're going to bring back a veteran Seahawk, it's going to be somebody like a Richard Sherman more than it's going to be somebody like a KJ Wright at this point. And honestly, if I had to guess, I'd say neither of them. So remains to be seen what we will end up doing with our additional cap space. But I saw this tweet and I decided to go ahead and shoot a video on it because a lot of Seahawks fans are still expecting KJ Wright to end up back here. And I think it might be time to start expecting something else. All right, see you guys in stream later. Peace out, go Hawks. Let me know what you think down below.